In Bechep village, where everyone looked the same, where traditions were older than memory, and destiny was believed to follow a straight line, a child was born who would bend that line forever. Kasa and Zugi had four children, two girls and two boys, and we are done having kids. Their children filled their home with laughter. Their hands were full, their hearts were satisfied. Then one morning, Zuki felt dizzy. Her body felt heavy as the headaches will not stop. It's nothing, she said, as she saw the worry on her husband's face. But as the days went by, the symptoms continued. They invited the village midwife to run some checkups on her. When the midwife finished her examination, she smiled. You carry life again. Silence filled the room. Another child? After 5 years? Kasa looked at his wife. Zugi looked at the ground. But slowly they smiled, encouraging themselves. Because in Bachep village, children were not accidents. They were seen as messengers from God. The day came. The labor was long, and outside stood the villagers, waiting patiently for the cry of the baby. Then the cry pierced the air. But when the baby was brought out, whispers began. He's too small. What kind of child is this? Yes, he was different. His head was a little larger. His hands and legs were short. His body was small. He was the first dwarf ever seen in Bachep. The silence was heavy. Until Kasa stepped forward, he lifted the child high. His voice shook, but it was firm. This is my son. His name is Kyan. And in that moment, love became louder than fear. Kyan and his siblings played together that he never felt unfit or different because of the love they showed him. Kyan grew under watching eyes. As some stared, laughed, and some pitied him. But Kyan never worried, because the love he felt at home surpassed every other rejection he got from the outside world. Before sunrise, he would follow his father to the farm. His hands learned strength. His back learned endurance. His heart learned resilience. When people were sad, Kian made them laugh. He had a kind heart for everyone. He never asked why me. He never felt unfit. Rather, he would always ask, what can I do? He always provided solutions to different problems. And slowly, the village stopped seeing him for his height. They began seeing his heart. He was just one of a kind. By 19, Kiang was financially independent. By 23, he owned acres of farms. And by 25, he built his own house. The same people who once whispered now praised his name. But success in the finance could not bring Kiang through love. He proposed to several beautiful maidens in his community, and the answer he would always receive was no. Over and over again. Not because he was poor, not because he was unkind, but because he was a little man. At night, he sat alone under the moon with his thoughts. He was strong and resilient, but even strong men feel pain. The rejections he faced worried his relations too. One afternoon, while inspecting his crops, Kyan overheard some of his workers who came from the neighboring village talking about a lady they called Kuyet, who came to stay with her grandmother in their village. The conversation went on and on. She's beautiful. She's kind. Ever since she arrived, her grandmother's buka is flourishing than ever. There is always a long queue of people waiting to buy food. They went on with this conversation, and Kyan got trapped in the conversation as he overheard them. Then one of them said, if she was normal, I would have approached her, because that one is a homekeeper. Another one said, honestly, but a dwarf, no. Immediately there was silence in the air for Kyan. His heart beat faster. For the first time in years, hope knocked. The next morning, he began his journey to Chucho village to see things for himself. After a few hours of trekking, he arrived the village. Bukabest was alive with noise, and truly the queue was very long. People were waiting for their meals. Steam rose from the pots. Customers laughed as they patiently waited for their turn. Then he saw her. Kuyet. She was small like him.
Welcome! You look hungry.
Thank you, it smells wonderful.
Enjoy. Safe travels.
I will, thank you.
Strong like him as well. And she was beautiful beyond words. Their eyes met. And in that moment, neither of them felt alone anymore. No explanations needed, no apologies needed, just understanding. They laughed, they shared stories of stares and whispers. For the first time, Kyan did not feel different or unfit. He felt seen. Days became weeks, weeks became months. They walked through farms together. They laughed, they dreamed. And under the great Iroko tree, Kyan knelt down, his hands trembling. Kuyet, will you marry me? She did not hesitate. Yes, I will marry you. The word he had waited his whole life to hear. His first yes. And the only thing that mattered at that time. Bachep and Chucho united. Drums echoed across fields. Colors danced in the sunlight. Two children, once whispered about, we are now the center of joy. Their parents cried tears of gratitude. The village celebrated love. Not height, not difference, just love. 1 year later, Kuyet was pregnant, and Kyan could not hold back his joy of becoming a father. 6 weeks later, Kuyet went into labor. And in the village, everyone waited for the arrival of the newborn. After hours of waiting, the midwife came out with the most surprising news ever. The midwife stepped out smiling. The baby is healthy. And the baby is not a dwarf. Gasp filled the air. But Kyan did not cry because the boy was tall. He cried because he understood something greater. He had never been a mistake. He had been a masterpiece. Months after the delivery, Kyan walked through his farmlands with his wife beside him and his child in his arms. The same village that once doubted him now told his story with pride. In life, do not let the world measure your worth. Do not let rejection define your future. But if your heart is kind, If your hands are hardworking and your spirit refuses to break, your time will come.